mentioned that if something happens in the banking sector, by all means, it's going to affect the savings and loan sector. Last year, no doubt, we saw a wave of activities in the banking sector. 5 banks go down for various reasons, and together was the Bank of Ghana's minimum capital requirement directive that banks have to meet 400 million by the end of the year. Sitting in your field, what were some of the reactions that were going on within the savings and loan sector? Because we had reports that people were panicking, coming for their funds. And I would imagine that your operations are even smaller as compared to banks. And we saw that some bigger institutions couldn't deal with it in a certain way. What was going on within the savings and loan sector?
Yeah, Philip, as I said, that anything that happens to any of the players within the space has effect on the savings and loans sector. And therefore, when people were rushing to go and withdraw their monies from the commercial banks because they were not sure what was going to happen to the commercial banks because of certain utterances that had come from different quarters, obviously it will have effect on the savings and loans as well. So if even a commercial bank, they are not sure, then what will happen to a lower tier, that's a savings and loans? And again, because they were not very sure, that customers were not very sure, it had serious effect on us. But fortunately, as we speak now, nobody has lost any deposit. Upon all the reforms and the supposed cleanup that you mentioned, nobody lost a deposit within that process, okay. Which is to tell you that we have full confidence that we do not expect people to continue to have this doubt, but be rest assured that if nobody lost any deposit, then nobody will lose a deposit. It may take some time, but we know it will happen. So with all these things, I must confess that yes, whatever happened to the commercial banks, you see, of course, the regulation also requires that every savings and loans company has a commercial bank as its clearing bank, mm-hmm. or its partner bank. And so it is law. And therefore, every savings and loan had their commercial banks they were dealing with to clear their checks and all these things and certain remittances and those things. And so if those commercial banks were going through a certain phase, mm-hmm. then of course they will also be affected. Okay. A typical one has to do with those that were consolidated, mm-hmm. that it had to take some time for the investments or the liabilities that those banks held to be validated. Now, because of the validation process, a savings and loans who had that particular bank as its clearing or wanted to or had monies there were some delays in accessing those funds. And so customer will walk into a savings and loans company and say that I need money today, and then you say wait until I get money from
because your funds were held in one of the banks that went into consolidated.
Exactly. So when that happens, then you see that somebody will go out there and say, hey, that savings and loans too has problem.